Imagine this for a second: 1,000 Roman legionaries, standing in perfect formation, shields, locked red crests, rising above a wall of iron discipline, forged through centuries of war. And across the field, 5 modern main battle tanks, engines, roaring cannons, loaded thermal sights, scanning targets. This battle should last seconds. It should be a massacre. But what if it is not? What if terrain, tactics, and timing change everything? Could the most disciplined army of the ancient world actually survive against modern armored firepower today? We are not just asking who wins. We are breaking down exactly how this battle would unfold, phase by phase, decision by decision, mistake by mistake. To understand this fight, we need to understand the two forces facing each other. A Roman legion was not just a group of soldiers. It was a machine of organization, structure, and ruthless discipline. 1,000 legionaries would likely form several cohorts, each trained to move as a single body. Their primary equipment included the scutum, a large rectangular shield designed to absorb impact and protect the soldier next to them; the gladius, a short stabbing sword built for brutal close quarters efficiency; and the pilum, a heavy javelin engineered to penetrate shields and armor before bending on impact to prevent reuse. Roman soldiers trained constantly. They marched over 20 miles a day, built fortified camps every night, and mastered coordinated maneuvers such as the testudo shield formation, which could resist arrows and projectiles from above. They were not reckless warriors. They were calculated, adaptable, and psychologically hardened. Now look at the opposing force: 5 modern main battle tanks, something like an M1 Abrams or Leopard, to each weighing over 60 tons, powered by engines producing more than 1,500 horsepower, armed with a 120mm smoothbore cannon, capable of firing armor-piercing rounds at targets kilometers away, whipped with thermal imaging laser rangefinders, stabilized turrets, and secondary machine guns. These vehicles are designed to destroy other tanks, reinforce bunkers, and entire defensive lines. They are not just armored. They are layered with composite armor, reactive systems, and advanced targeting computers. A single shell can obliterate a concrete structure. The shockwave alone would devastate tightly packed infantry formations. Phase 3: Endurance and logistics. Modern tanks are powerful, but they are not limitless. Each carries finite ammunition, perhaps 40 rounds of main cannon shells, and limited machine gun ammunition. Fuel consumption is enormous. If for some reason this engagement extends beyond immediate shock and becomes prolonged harassment, the tanks would need resupply, something the Romans would not require in the same way. Roman logistics were legendary. They built supply lines, roads, and fortified camps with astonishing speed. If this becomes a campaign, rather than a single clash, the advantage of industrial supply chains versus ancient sustainability becomes a decisive factor. Without support, the tanks eventually run dry. Without maintenance, they risk mechanical failure, and a disabled tank in hostile territory becomes a stationary fortress at best. Now consider psychology. Roman soldiers believed in honor, discipline, and the eternal glory of Rome. But even the strongest morale fractures under incomprehensible destruction. Seeing comrades vanish in explosions beyond understanding would challenge cohesion. However, Roman command structure emphasized obedience. Under chaos, centurions enforced order ruthlessly. If any ancient army could maintain formation under terror, it would be a legion. Meanwhile, tank crews operate within enclosed steel compartments, relying on sensors rather than direct vision in chaotic close quarters environments. Their situational awareness narrows. If surrounded, visibility blocked, engines overheating, stress compounds rapidly. So who actually wins in realistic conditions? In a direct open battlefield confrontation with full ammunition and operational freedom, 5 modern tanks would annihilate 1,000 Roman legionaries with minimal risk. Technology spanning to millennia creates an overwhelming advantage in range, penetration, and destructive force. However, in restrictive terrain, prolonged engagement, and absence of resupply, the scenario becomes more complex. The Romans cannot destroy tanks through conventional weapons, but they can outlast, outmaneuver, and potentially neutralize isolated units through environmental control and attrition. The real lesson of this hypothetical battle is not that ancient courage defeats modern machines, nor that technology alone guarantees dominance. It is that warfare evolves through adaptation. Rome itself survived centuries because it learned from defeat and changed its structure if placed in a modern context. The legion would study, observe, and attempt innovation, just as it did against Hannibal and countless enemies across Europe and the Mediterranean. And that is the deeper question, whether Rome could win this single impossible battle, but how long it would take before Rome learned how to fight it. History teaches us that power is never static discipline. Without technology struggles against overwhelming firepower. Technology without strategy can become vulnerable in the wrong environment. 1,000 legionaries versus 5 tanks is not just a fantasy matchup. It is a study in evolution of warfare, from iron shields to composite armor, from disciplined shield walls to digital targeting systems. And it reminds us that every dominant force in history eventually faces something it does not understand at first until it adapts or falls.